question for you. Is Johannesburg becoming ungovernable? Well, this follows reports that in recent months, councillors have received death threats, with some being shot at, others intimidated. Reports also say that council meetings have been collapsing under factional battles, legal threats, power plays that feel more like a war zone than a chamber of governance. So therefore, asking the question, is Joburg becoming simply ungovernable? And are councillors simply unable to carry out their duties? Well, we thought we'd speak to somebody who's in the middle of everything. And Lucinda Harman, hi, good morning. Lucinda, good to have you on 702.
Good morning, Ray.
Now, we've been saying you're a former councillor, you'd resigned and stepped down, but you haven't. You're still a ward councillor for 102, the Ward 102, am I correct?
That's correct. My resignation kicks in on the 30th of November.
All right. Okay. So you have resigned. It kicks in the 30th of November. Why have you given your resignation, and what's going on in the background?
Yeah, I think, I'm actually shocked that the media has never caught on to how many councillors are being murdered, and it's a big concern. We go to council, we have memorial session after memorial session, and it's become such a big problem. The city at the moment is just so badly managed and so badly governed. And then, everything just falls on deaf ears the whole time. Doesn't matter what's happening to you. Nobody's bothered to listen. No one's prepared to take action because everything's just collapsing around. And, it's impossible to do your work as a ward councillor. For me, it became impossible under the circumstances. I was tired of intimidations. I was tired of dysfunctionality. These threats that go on and on and on. And it got to the point where my mental health and my physical health took a huge decline. And after 2 weeks in hospital, I kind of came out and realized it was time to resign.
Yeah, listen to who's behind all of this. What's going on? You talk about intimidation. You talk about councillors being murdered. What is going on? Who's behind all of this? What's happening?
Yeah, construction mafia is a huge problem, and I'm going to bring up the big word, projects. Wherever there are projects, you've got the biggest risk of a councillor being murdered. And in Ward 102, it's Randburg CBD. And the projects have also run down to Willowweld and down to Bryanston and to Blegari. Blegari and Randburg CBD were the ones that have been the worst by a long shot. And you know that if there are projects in an area, that councillor is under risk of being murdered, and they certainly are going to be receiving. So it's construction mafia. Construction mafia are behind all of this, and then it's all these hostile political parties that have. They're in on it. They're in on the scheme, and they're part of the problem.
Lucinda, obviously you would have complained about this. You would have spoken about this. I know that Minister Dean McPherson has been very vocal on crushing the construction mafia. Has anybody been listening to you?
No, the answer is absolutely no. And there's the problem. Because if the people had been listening and maybe given me the support, I might have had the legs to carry on. But when you're on your own, and there's nobody behind you, it's very difficult to carry on because you realize that you're fighting a battle that's going to cost you probably your life, and unnecessarily so. That's why I've had to step away.
Yeah, and Dada Morero, the Joburg mayor, have you spoken to him? Have you spoken to others?
The problem is, in council we had a meeting about this, about council protection and how bad it is and how many councillors' lives are at risk. And we were in the council chamber, we spoke about it, and nothing's been done about it. They've been sitting with the council policy, protection policy, since 2021. I was in the rules committee. We've just gone back to discuss it again, but it's just discuss after discussion. There's no implementation to taking action. And Dada Moreira is fully aware of what's going on, but he's not taking action. And you've got the speaker with the speaker's office that's never even acknowledged an email from me, and I've spoken to him in person. And still there's no action being taken. And that's when I realized, you know what, nothing's going to change. They don't care. My life, I don't want to end up in the council as another memorial session. I don't want to be there.
Lucinda, have you been directly threatened? And if so, what did they say to you?
You know what, it's always done. On the phone, they say more on the phone than they do in written. On the phone, I've been told a number of times, watch your back, we're coming for you. If you don't do what we want, if you don't get the projects our way. If you don't bend to our rules, then you better be careful. So it's that kind of thing that comes my way, and it's becoming, but they're always done on a phone. The written things are less. It's more on the phone. Every now and then one does see something in writing, but generally it's always these phone calls, and I just never, ever have the time to record it, or I'm caught in the middle of something. Because if I caught it, it would be another thing. But I do know who they are. That's the interesting part. I actually do know who these people are.
Yeah. The Hawks and the police. I mean, obviously, you're on 702 this morning. Have you spoken to them? Will you be speaking to them?
I turned to, the local police refused to help me, wouldn't open a case. I ended up going to provincial police, and they were meant to refer me to the Hawks, which never happened. I got a call one day by someone supposed in the Hawks to meet with me, and they never did. That's where it went to. It never went any further. It's just like everything hits a brick wall. And this is just going to continue until somebody takes it seriously. I don't know how many more deaths before someone does, because I'm just watching all these deaths and wondering, how the heck did we get here?
Lucinda, like I said, you're talking on 702 this morning. Are you worried about your security being maybe a whistleblower? Are you worried now about what happens next?
Well, of course you're going to be concerned. You'd be kind of mad if you didn't. But I'm kind of planning my end of my steps right now, and thank heavens where I live, I'm kind of away from it, and there's high protection where I live. But obviously, your life. This is the reality. Your life is at risk. And you know it, and you're aware of it. And when you step away from the councillor, lest you have protection, but actually you've had no protection anyway, so you're not missing out on that. But I don't let fear enter my brain too much. I'm dealing with it. I'm going through it. I go and speak to professionals that can actually help me through this. But it's no way to live, right? It's no way to live at all.
It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Political parties like the DA, other parties apart from those who are governing the city of Johannesburg, what do they say?
Nothing. Nothing. I know that another party got hold of me. They were so shocked by Times Live what they read. And they said, I've been in council and I've spoken about it. And I go, I know. But I don't think anyone's taking it seriously. I just think everyone just thinks we all must get on with our job and keep doing what we're doing and not rock the boat and not say anything too much. And, this is why it's so concerning, is I've been saying there's a problem a serious problem since April this year. And that is just where the concern is. And councillors privately behind the scenes have been coming to me and saying, it's so sad it got to this, and I was probably the person that was saying the most about it, most vocal about it, and working on the policy. And it's too far it's too far shot. It's too far gone.
Yeah, Lucinda Harman, thank you so much for being with us on 702 this morning. Lucinda Harman is the Ward 102 councillor. She's stepping down on the 30th of November. The Hawks, the police, Minister Dean McPherson. I think it's time we all had a conversation about this. This cannot continue.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.